Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about descriptive statistics. We'll start with some basic graphs that you can make either by hand or using technology. We're mainly going to use technology, but I am going to show you a few things to do by hand just because they're easier to do quick sketches of. We're just trying to get a feel for what it might look like overall. We're not trying to be real precise or anything. Also, sometimes it helps you to get the concept to see a few things done out by hand with smaller data sets. But anything that we'll have a good amount of data for, we're definitely going to want to use technology. And in your MyOpenMath, you'll want to use technology as well. And you can often copy and paste some things you have to type in individually into the program. If you have a program that you already like if you're using Excel, for instance, and you're used to that and you want to use that, you can. I'll reference some videos for that. GeoGebra is another one you may have used before, or Desmos. I'm going to show some different techniques with Statplet as well. It's a newer one, but it's really nice. So just to give you a little intro to the chapter here, remember to check your book first, if possible, or reference it afterward to get more of the concept and read through. I'm not going to read through everything in videos, but basically here's your objectives and here's a description of what descriptive statistics is, and it's just a really great tool to show you the shape or distribution of things, and you can see at a glance how the data is summarized really nicely. The book and the workbook a lot of times will want to show the TI 83 or 84. I don't use that at all. We can use technology instead, but some of you may already have one and are liking it, so you can reference the book for the how-tos on that. Then we're going to go over here to stem and leaf graphs, and I'm going to show you in the workbook how to go through a lot of these. This is kind of the fun part, just going through and taking this data and organizing it in a way using the technology is really fun. Even drawing stuff out isn't bad. So I'm going to switch over to the workbook now, and you can use this worksheet to work along with me or just read it on here, write on any paper. One thing I suggest is you might want to have your phone handy to use as an extra screen to watch the video and follow along with the software or the Statplet videos that I'm doing, the process, so that you can use your computer to actually go on Statplet and have your workbook. It's nice if you can at least have that open. You have a link in your assignment, but you can actually just copy and paste instead of typing stuff in. Just like that. I'll show you how to do that. It's really pretty easy and nice. And that'll save you a lot of time in typing. One thing that may be helpful is to hit the window symbol on your keyboard. It's usually next to your spacebar and then your arrow. I'm going to hit the left arrow. I have to click on the page first to make it work. And then I can have the other one show up here as well as whatever else I have open. You can hit the window and click the right arrow. Well, just made it go away though. Let me get that back over here. And then you can see things easier and you can shrink things, resize them. I'm going to make this big for now so we can see it together. So descriptive statistics, you can read more details in your book, but here's kind of the cut to the chase little blips in your workbook page. Stem and leaf plots, or stem plots they're called. They're just a good way to represent data, similar to a histogram. You can still see like what the numbers are pretty easily and stretched out. So it's a way of organizing. Teachers use it for grades a lot in high school. So you would have your stem, for example, 173, the stem would be 17 and the leaf would be 3. It just depends on kind of what you are trying to convey and what's useful to you, what kind of graphs you use. So just keep that in mind. So the first thing, they put this in smallest to largest, so you can kind of get a picture visual, but not that great. So we're going to put this into Statlet. So just go on to statlet.com. And first I'm going to copy this data. So I'm going to highlight, just press your button, your mouse, copy, and then you can hit Control-C to copy, or you can go up here and hit copy. Then I'm going to shrink this down and I'm going to go over to Statlet. And I'm going to do, this is quantitative, so I'm going to hit single group. And for the website, it's statlet.com. And then you'll be able to get there. I'll put a link also. So we want to label our variable. This is just, we'll just call it exam 1 scores. And then we're putting in raw data. Sometimes it'll say like other values you can choose from, but we're putting in raw data. And now we're going to click in the data box, and then I'm going to hit Control-V, or I could right click and hit paste. That's another way to do these things. And it's already separated by commas. So I just paste that data in there. Hopefully you can see that big enough. You wouldn't see all of the data when you paste it in. That's one drawback of this. I think I don't necessarily like how that chops it off, but you can, if you want to click in the box and hit the right arrow just to double check it, you can do that. Then hit begin analysis, and the default is to do a dot plot is what they always start with. So you can click at the box, and we want to do a stem plot. Okay, so here's our data. I'm going to just make it a little bigger here. You can see the label, which is nice. And there's other adjustments you can make, but it's pretty basic for this one. And one thing you can also do is to print your screen to show your work and upload that. You can do a snip of it. So here's a little snip and sketch. I think it comes with all the words. So you might have to go like into your start and like search for it and do like snip. And then you can find your snipping tool here. Or there's the snip and sketch. Okay, but they're basically the same thing. And then I'll open up a little box. And I move that over. And you can just go ahead and click on here. Actually, one thing I forgot to do before I went to highlight it all was to click new. So your screen darkens up, and then make sure you get over in the corner and everything you want to get. Okay, so you can copy that, and then it shows up over here. And you've snipped that, so you have a little screenshot of that. It's automatically saved to your screenshots folder too. And then you do need to watch everything you get. I actually had that little timer of my video there, but that's fine. You can make edits if you want, but we don't need to be fancy with it. Mainly it's just a way to show your work or keep notes, and you don't have to write everything out. So what you can do with this is either on any Word document, a blank one, you can save this, or you could put it right into the worksheet that we're working off of. And what you would do is go over here in the corner and click copy. And then I'm going to make this small and go back to my notes here, and then it will come out really big at first. So you can do different kinds of pastes if you click here. Like you could just do the standard, or you could right click and you get the standard. And then if you click in the box and grab the corner, I don't know if you can see it there, but right here, see this little arrow and on that dot, and then go in from the diagonal so it doesn't distort the shape, because if I pull here it'll make it like just really long. You can do that if you want to see it a little better, but you can really just kind of shrink it up. And so you have, remember what it is. You can kind of, that's a little bad placement there, a little too close. But you can, move it around and get it, formatted better. Somehow I did something weird here, but kind of click and drag it back under. You can also, if you want to be more particular, you can go and get, insert a text box or something, and then just right here and insert it, draw the text box. And then I could take this, click on it, right click, copy, and then paste into my text box, so that way I can move things around a lot easier. And then I could just delete that. I am avoiding use of boxes though for most of your things, so that your things are accessible for screen readers. So that is example 2.1, and also a lot of technology tips there. Frequency polygon, we're not going to use technology for this one. We've already done the frequency polygon for the scores of, it was for the cost of textbooks, I think is what it was. I have it down here as well. Yeah, it was the cost of textbooks from 36 students. And this was the raw data that we had looked at before, and we had organized into the frequency polygon in the lesson for chapter 1. And so we're going to use that just to lay out a little graph, and I'm going to just do it by hand. Just this kind of lends itself to by hand. So it'll just be a free sketch here. And the first thing you need to do is add in your axes and then your labels. So you're just going to put the midpoints will go on the bottom down here, and the frequency number will go on the side. So I'm going to just draw in, because I have a tablet here, so I'm just going to draw it in with my pen. Freehand, just doing your x-axis here, your y-axis there, and I'm going to call this midpoints for, it'll be cost of textbooks, and then this is frequency. And this is midpoints. You don't really need to specify that. You're just saying it's a frequency polygon, so we know it's midpoints. And then you would label right here. We're going to start with 160, 200, so on and so forth. So you can go ahead and put the labels in there, and then you can number these 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So pause the video and I'll get that done on my end too. And you could also just do like every other one. Say, oh, it's real crowded. You don't really need to have all of them in there. Like I could get rid of every other one just to create some space. That might be fine. And then these you can just do 5, 10, just so we know the scale. So then I'm going to just put one dot at the top, just like a plotting points. Probably done that before in your graphing units. So I would have 160 as my midpoint and the dot goes on the top. Now, if I were doing a histogram, it would be very much the same, except I would be making this more like these rectangles. But the histograms work really nicely in the software. The frequency polygons, I haven't quite found one that is exactly what I'm looking for a quick sketch, but when I do, I'll post that. So then I would have just the different dots going on here. Again, pause the video, you can work on that. So once we get our dots in there, we do go ahead and connect up the dots. No curves, just all straight lines like that. So that's called a frequency polygon. One thing I want to point out too with this, it's important to just drop the ends down here. And then we're going to put a break in the graph. The one I have there is a little off, so I'm going to fix that. It should really just be on the x-axis, just so we show that it's not starting at 0. Okay, this is the last example for this section. We have a few more sections in chapter 2 though that I'll do in separate videos. Bar graphs are used to display categories, so they're really good for categorical nominal data, and the length of the bar indicates the frequency. So it's similar to the frequency polygon, except we're not just putting dots with lines, we're drawing bars. But I'll show you this one on technology. There's a horizontal and vertical axis. So here's an example where we have, by the end of 2011, Facebook had over 146 million users in the United States. The table shows 3 age groups. So even though they're numbers, they're just really categories. The number of users in each age group is here, and then the proportion of users in each age group is here. So we're going to look at the proportion instead of putting in the big numbers. It's just easier that we converted them. Just take this, 65 million some odd dollars divided by the total, and you get 45% were in the 13 to 25 age group, 36% were in the 26 to 44 age group, and then 19% in 45 to 64. I wonder how that's changed now, because now older people tend to use Facebook, younger people use like TikTok or whatever. So we're going to look at Statlet for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and make that smaller, and I'm going to pull up my Statlet. And with Statlet, just to show you, you can get out of this screen you were in. So go back to menu, and then you need a categorical variable, and we're going to do single group. And here's where I'm going to try to get 2 screens going so you can see. So we can look at it, look at the data. This one, it's easier. Really can't copy and paste in these table formats, which I kind of don't love with this Statlet, but overall it's pretty good. So I might show you if you have big data sets that you're having double things like that. I'll show you a different program as well, or I'll just put some videos up that I already have. So variable name would be the age groups. So type that in. Then we're going to put, so counts and categories is how this one always pops up. But you can do it as raw data as well by choosing that and plop it in. And it would, like if we had all the numbers and whatever spread out like a chart with all the data values, we could do that, but we don't have that. We just have it already categorized. So we want to get 3 lines. So we're going to just type in, I mean, I can just paste, you know, copy paste here. So I can highlight, copy, and then paste, but like it's individual. I can't take the whole column. At least I don't know how to yet, but if I figure it out, I will let you know. Tried that, it didn't seem to work. And then the proportion you can put in there, copy, paste. You can do this along with me if you want to pause and then try it on your own. And do, even if you're doing it, you know, you haven't gotten it in yet and you want to watch me, then go back and try it after. So hopefully this will work. So once you get that all in there, oh, I have one wrong here. That should be 19. So I grabbed the wrong thing. So just go ahead and fix it. And then begin analysis. Now I'm going to make this big for you. And that is your bar chart. So it sets it up nicely. You have your labels, you have your scale on there, your categories in there. And I could have been more specific with my labels here, like age groups of Facebook users 2011 would probably be better. And I already had this as relative frequency, so I want to write that that's relative frequency so that it is showing the percentages. And then here's the chart, which is nice. And there's some different kinds of tests we will learn about later in the course, but we don't need to use that right now. But just so you know that there's some more settings that are interesting for later. And then again, you could, you know, snip it, put it in to save it if you would like. And then once you want to, once you're done, if you want to reset it, you just reset everything and it clears it all out. Or you can just go back to menu, it'll clear it also. So I hope that is helpful. And just play around with some of that Statlet stuff and see how it goes. We'll take up another video for the histograms and the rest of it. So have a great day.